Good day, everyone. I would like to welcome you to our presentation on Barbados tourism sector analysis. My name is Nikita Gopal, and I am here today with my colleagues, Ms. Cherise Brown, Ms. Latoya Granger, Ms. Renise Daniel, and Ms. Shania Durant. Our team is here today to review our sector analysis of the chosen country, Barbados, from our group case study. I hope you all enjoy and pay close attention. I will now hand you over to my colleague Renice.
Thanks for that, Nikita. Hi guys, my name is Renis and I'll just be sharing a quick introduction with you guys on Barbados. So where exactly is Barbados located? As most of you would know, Barbados is located in the Caribbean. Its capital is Bridgetown. It has a GDP of 4.36 billion, and that's a USD figure. Its population, according to World Bank 2020, is 287,371. Its GNI per capita, again according to World Bank 2020, is 13,010. Barbados gained independence on November 30th, 1966. Although Barbados was an independent nation, it's wise to note that Barbados recently became a republic nation. The island became a republic on November 30th, 2021. What languages are spoken in Barbados? Barbados's main languages is English and Bajan. It's also wise to know that Barbados has a very political and social and technological welcoming environment. Barbados is truly a unique tropical tourism destination.
Good day again, everyone. Barbados tourism is quickly developing every year with more welcoming changes in their country. Tourism is the heart and soul of Barbados, their people, culture, cuisine, beaches, music, and hospitality. Barbados' tourism sector emerged and can be traced back to the 17th centuries when young nobles from Western and Northern European countries made what was called a grand tour, which was a trip. Tourism in Barbados is a crucial economic activity and has been since the 1960s. They employ approximately 13,000 people, and after the recession years in the 1990s, 1999, and 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic, Barbados has seen records of 1.33 million tourists around 2019 in their country, which approximately is US 1.3 billion in receipts. With any recession, every sector suffers a loss, and the statistics and outcome of the COVID-19 2020 pandemic are still to be seen in the sector. However, recent updates shows that Barbados' economy is in the recovery stage and has reopened its borders for business and enjoyment. Barbados' economy is mainly driven by foreign direct investment, tourism, and international trade. Their main characteristics of tourism are the outstanding beaches, caves, historic sites, garden plantations, wildlife preserve, a great nightlife, and delectable cuisine. However, their two main players are the United States and the United Kingdom, where most of their visitors arrive from. The tourism sector in Barbados is one of the biggest economic drivers. According to the statistics retrieved, the tourism sector is one of the main contributors to employment in Barbados. They employ over 12% of the country's labor force and is one of the largest foreign exchange earners in their economy since the 1980s. Tourism's share of total foreign exchange earnings has hovered over 50%, with over 2 million in contributions to their foreign exchange. Tourism in Barbados' economy is considered one of the most important earners of foreign exchange aside from the international business sector. Since 1974, Barbados' tourism sector has contributed between 10 and 12% of their total GDP. How has a global financial and economic crisis affected tourism in Barbados? Our team investigated two economic and financial crises: the 2008 Great Recession and the 2019 COVID pandemic. These brought about effects such as lower demand as finances became unavailable, fewer people may travel for vacation, recreation, or business, resulting in diminishing tourism sector activity and receipts. Investment levels may decline in the external sector as important source markets face economic shock. Weaker tourism receipts combined with lower foreign direct investment would put a strain on international reserves. During this time, they also faced a fiscal deficit. Financial crisis will create a further fiscal deficit as a result of the effect on tourism. The fiscal surplus of 3.7% of GDP in the 2019-2020 fiscal year had turned into a fiscal deficit of 0.2% of GDP by September 2020, and the gross public debt had increased by 8.5% points to 131% of GDP in the same month. It also caused unemployment. As less tourism receipts is receipt, there will be less work in the sector and businesses will now cut staff, causing an increase in unemployment. In continuing, how has increasing globalization affected tourism in Barbados? Barbados has gained an increase in tourism over the years with over $1 billion receipts in 2018. This increased employment, raised salary, and invited more foreign exchange, increasing their GDP. On the downside, they face competition from other Caribbean islands, raised in small petty crimes such as pickpockets and environmental damages such as increased pollution from tourism. The movement towards globalization brought with it additional obstacles, both favorable and unfavorable. However, the advantages of increasing globalization outweigh the disadvantages for Barbados and their tourism sector.
Okay, guys, on this slide, I will talk about the role of the government in the development of tourism in Barbados. The government of Barbados' principal role in the tourism sector should be to facilitate investors' access to infrastructure development, the construction of tourist destinations and experiences, employment, festival and concert promotions. The Tourism Development Act actually replaced what they had there before, which was the Hotels Aid Act, which made it even easier for investors to come to Barbados, dramatically increasing economic opportunities in Barbados' tourism sector beyond traditional accommodation. This act also made it easier with the exemptions of import duty, tax, environmental levy on furniture and fittings and equipment, as well as construction materials and supplies. The Barbados government recognizes that tourism generates a considerable amount of revenue for the country and employs a significant number of people on the island, hence the importance of taking a facilitative role and allowing investors, to come to the island and for them to gain revenue. Barbados' main source of foreign exchange is tourism. Tourism can create large sum of foreign cash, which is necessary for the purchasing of imported goods and services for capital growth and financing of consumer goods. I'll pass you on to my colleague who will present the next slide.
The effects of CARICOM single market and economy on tourism. The CARICOM single market and economy, CSME, is designed to be a single economic space created by unifying the markets of all member states of the community. It would therefore allow persons in CARICOM member states to be better able to conduct business transactions by a common set of rules and regulations and to be accorded the same treatment as nationals of any member of the states. The full implementation of CSME in Barbados in the tourism sector will be a greater benefit to this Caribbean country since it will create greater travel opportunity. The ability to move freely through member states and being afforded the same treatment as nationals of Barbados would encourage persons to make more frequent visits to the island. Increase in employment. CSME allows for artists and artisans, among others, to move and work freely among CARICOM community members. This will also encourage the easier staging of events in Barbados using a wide variety of cultural icons and types of music, for example, reggae, dancehall, calypso, etc., without the need for the tedious process of obtaining work permits. professional workers who are graduated from recognized universities and who could add to the development of aspects of the Barbados tourism products through their unique style would also be able to work freely in the country without the need to obtain a work permit. Increased investments in capital goods and services from other CARICOM states into the Caribbean tourism sector would face fewer or no restrictions, and improvement in the sector can be implemented at a quicker pace. Reduction in taxes. Tariffs that exist for goods and services coming from the CARICOM nations into Barbados would no longer exist, and therefore there would be a reduction in the cost of components in the Bajan tourism sector. With the full implementation of CARICOM single market and economy, we can see from the examples how it can benefit the tourism sector. In addition, our firm can be developed by this since we are looking at the opportunity to expand into Barbados tourism sector. With the greater opportunity for travel, this would mean that our organization would have a wider range of target audiences, which will in turn be good for product development and growth within our organization. The free movement of labor would open grounds for the readily available labor in the economy. With lower taxes, our organization would have to pay less in taxes. Lastly, the raw materials and resources being easy to ship to this country would encourage daily operations and mass production, providing it another growth for expansion. Although there would be some red tape dealing with administration within the economic environment in terms of paperwork, this too would be a thing of the past as Barbados is currently seeking the development of their systems into more online-based platforms and quickly developing new technologies and promoting environmental health with the implementation of our new hybrid and more economical transport. In addition to this, and with the recent development with the sudden COVID-19 pandemic, where tourism can also cause a pandemic to cross waters into their country. Barbados is in the recovery process where their borders are once more open for tourism. This proves that they can withstand an unexpected turn of events in the future.
After conducting an in-depth case study and a sector analysis, we strongly advise the Board of Directors to invest in Barbados' tourism sector. Secure our organization by investing in the business, securing it financially for at least 2 years in case of a financial economic crisis. Our team is confident in investing in Barbados as it has all the welcoming necessities to run an organization, make a profit, and further look into the development of new products which will soon enhance growth, efficiency, and development for our organization. Now we would look at the next slide, which will discuss the reasons for our recommendations. Now let's look at the reasons for our recommendations. 1. From data retrieved on Barbados for the last 5 years, it is wise to note that Barbados' economy have been climbing and growing positively. When compared to Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados procured a higher score to open a business with hope of expanding. 2. On the basis that they can withstand a global and financial crisis from evidence proven before in their history of the Great Recession in 2008. 3. The effects of increasing globalization have more advantages than disadvantages. It is wise to note that globalization have drastically benefited Barbados' tourism sector. 4. The economy can withstand the effects of unexpected factors outside of human control, such as a pandemic. Barbados was one of the few countries who was able to get things back up and running after the devastating economic ramifications of the COVID-19 pandemic. 5. The advantages of the full implementation of the CARICOM single markets and economy outweigh the disadvantages. So, with all that being said, after careful consideration, our team strongly suggests that the Board of Directors invest in Barbados and the tourism sector, along with securing their investment with insurance, of course, in case of any financial, economic distress or pandemic for at least 2 years, which is their recovery proven from evidence about incidents in the past. With that being said, I'll now hand you over to Cherise, who will close off this presentation.
For conclusion, in a nutshell, we have achieved our aims, goals, and objectives of this presentation by advising our Board of Directors with our recommendations. Followed by the next two slides, we have listed all of our references used for this presentation. And guys, that brings us to the end of our presentation. Any questions?